Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Shoe Shimmerer. This is your host Richard, and I've got a lot of really good content, really interesting, fun content coming towards you guys. If you follow my Instagram, you guys will be able to see some of the projects I'm working on. So I'm just kind of trying to catch up on the video editing, as it's been easier to just put a little 1 minute clip on Instagram than it is to come back and edit a longer video for YouTube. And so today I'll be shining these. It's a special edition patina by Taft, and it's ox blood, mixed in with these little black patches. Really beautiful shoe. I think they had a run of 300 or 500. I forget which one. And yeah, I love these shoes. Taft is a very fashion-forward company. The leather is good quality. I will say that it's extremely easy to scratch the leather on these shoes. And I don't know if you were able to notice, but there's a long scratch on this left shoe that I'm working on first. And then there's a little spot on the right side of the right shoe that I've also accumulated over the past couple of years of owning these. But I mean, it's a high quality leather, but for whatever reason, it's super soft. And so if you guys are looking into getting Taft, I would just, be careful going up those stair steps. At least that's where I found that I scratch my shoes the most. Maybe not giving, enough clearance of the next step before I walk up. And so with this pair, I've actually already shined them a few days beforehand. With regular, polish, as well as, mink oil to condition the leather. And so this video is going to be focused purely on the mirror shine process. And I use a couple different products. I use the Butte de Coeur, which is a Saphir Butte de Coeur. I don't know if I'm probably butchering that. It's French. And then I use the Saphir Medal d'Or. And it took me a long time to mirror shine these shoes. I think I had over an hour of footage simply for the mirror shine, and usually I'm able to get a pretty good mirror shine with 30 or 40 minutes. And so I'm not sure whether that was because I was using this neutral product right here. Yeah, there it is. So the Butte de Coeur. I don't know if it was because I was using this instead of purely the Medal d'Or. I have heard that the Medal d'Or is Saphir's highest quality product, whereas the Butte de Coeur is kind of like a step down. But this is me experimenting. I have it, and I'm not going to let it go to waste. If I have something, I'm going to use it. And so with this pair, it took me a long time. It took me an hour of shining. Don't worry, I've sped things up. I think the video is going to be right under 10 minutes. And so don't worry, I'm not going to take that much of your time. But if you see me, go into, superhero mode, that's because I've sped up the video about 3 times. And so the first thing that I'm doing here is I'm wrapping my hand with a 100% cotton cloth. Now, I'm just using a dress shirt. Just make sure it's 100% cotton. Honestly, just go to Goodwill, pick up a 100% cotton shirt, for, $5. It doesn't really matter. You can get a lot of shoe shining websites will try selling you, cotton chamois. I don't know how to pronounce that either. But honestly, you really don't need it. You don't need anything fancy. You could just get an old dress shirt. It doesn't really matter the color either, as long as it's not a shirt that is bled before. But I've never run across that. I've used blue, I've used white. With some of my other projects, I've actually used a red cotton t-shirt, and it really doesn't affect it. And especially if it's used, it's been washed multiple times, there's not going to be anything coming off of it. So, I wouldn't worry about it. So the first step is I'm going to be applying multiple layers of wax to the toe caps. And the reason that you're doing this is you're going to fill the pores of the shoe, because it's just like our skin, we have pores. You're filling the pores of the shoe with wax so that once it dries, you can then use water and, very minimal amounts of wax to then smooth over the surface of the wax that you've already created. And now that you've already done that, just let it sit to dry, and you can let it dry as long as you'd like. Anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes to even overnight, I found is effective. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I polished these with regular shoe cream and mink oil a few days prior, and it might not have affected how long it took to put in this mirror shine, but just in case, I would apply the mirror shine directly after you polish the shoe with regular shoe cream. And the reason for that is I think that once you apply the polish, and you brush it off with a horsehair brush, I think the leather is warmer. And I think that really helps with the wax, filling in those pores, creating an even surface. I think that is really important. Now, again, it might have taken me a long time because of the products I'm using, but then again, maybe not. And maybe it was because I polished them a few days before. So there you go. Those are the two products, the Pat Deluxe, the Medal d'Or, as well as the Butte de Coeur. And this step, I think I'm going to go into Super Saiyan mode in a second here. And that ice cube has been watered with a solution of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, as well as water. And you don't want to do a 1-to-1 ratio. You really want to do kind of like 1 part alcohol, 5 parts water. And the reason for that is it just helps melt the ice cube, as well as, you're going to have trace amounts of the solution when you are, buffing the toe cap. And what that's going to do is that's just going to help melt the waxes together. And that's what alcohol does. And so as you see me doing here, I apply a little bit of wax to my fingertips, and then I just tap the ice cube. Now, this is something I've said in previous videos. You're just going to learn about, oh, there I go. Well, so you're just going to learn with time about how much water, how many times you're going to be tapping that ice cube, how many times you're going to be touching the wax. And it's going to be trial by error. You can watch as many videos as you like of, myself or others shining shoes, but you need to be doing this hands-on to really get a feel for what you're doing. And, I think that's also just doubly important. Just knowing that every leather is going to react differently to this process. As you can see here, I've implemented a few little jump cuts. And the reason for that is I want you to know, I want you guys to see that this is a process. Not every leather is going to react the same way. And so the more shoes that you shine, the more mirror shines that you apply to those shoes, you're going to understand that for every shoe, it's a different process. Every shoe reacts differently. And the only way that you're going to become accustomed to that change is by shining more shoes. And you can only do that by trial and error. I can give you the steps to, make a mirror shine, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a different skill when applying those same steps. You can have myself as well as, someone that's been shining shoes for 30 years. We're using the same steps, but the skill in which he's applying those steps is going to be much greater than myself. And then, vice versa, if you're watching this video, the way that I'm applying these steps is probably going to be with more skill and experience than you are. And so I wouldn't become discouraged if you're not getting the kind of result that you want. Just know that this is a learning process, as with anything, and you just need to keep at it. These shoes, there are some times where I was thinking, maybe the leather's become oversaturated and that's why it's not shining. But I just kept at it, and you can see that. I just continued to be consistent with the steps that I knew that were tried and true, and this is the end result. And I guarantee you're going to be proud of yourself when you're done with this. You're going to feel accomplished, and I just recommend that you just keep at it. Keep shining shoes, keep applying these principles to every shine, and you're going to continue to grow in your skill in applying those principles. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Shoe Shimmer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you have any feedback or questions, I'd love to get back to you guys. And make sure you check out my Instagram at the Shoe Shimmer. And I have more content there, and you'll be able to get sneak peeks at what's coming up next.